You lost weight, you tapered off the medication, but if you do not retrain your brain, your old patterns will come back, maybe stronger than before. In this final video, we're going to show you how to retrain your brain. Our clinic doesn't just guide clients through weight loss. We help transform who they are around food, habits, and identity. This is the final and the most overlooked phase of sustainable change. We'll cover basic science, practical tools, and 3 daily practices that rebuild your internal compass so you don't just lose weight, you live differently. Hi, I'm Dr. Carter with Mind and Body Clinic, and we are weight loss experts. This channel is all about how to transform yourself safely and effectively. If that sounds like you, please subscribe. Why is brain retraining essential post GLP-1 or really any weight loss medication? Well, one of the things is GLP-1 specifically mute what's called a dopamine loop. And a dopamine loop is tied to food cravings and but now that we're off the medication, that control is going to fade. What you'll see is cravings may return. Again, that's going to depend on how you ate during your weight loss journey. Emotional eating may resurface, and your internal hunger and satiety signals may be off because of how you've been eating for so long. So this phase is really not about the food. It's really about reprogramming your relationship with food, stress, and identity. Now, there are 3 systems that we're going to address. First one is the reward system. One of the problems is that the medication indeed blunted the rewards you get from food. And so what that means is that your brain may overcompensate later with stronger cravings for or even snacks. So how do we address this? If it wasn't addressed during the weight loss, what we can do at this point is build natural dopamine loops by using micro wins. So a micro win might be just staying on track with your exercise. Could be tracking your progress. Could also include non-food rewards, whether that's shopping because you lost all this weight. Now you're swimming in your pants. Things don't fit right. That's actually a great reward. It could be something that's fun for you to do. It could be getting a new book, whatever, or it could be a creative hobby. Whatever is fun or entertaining or is like a cherry on top for you, that could be something you would include in this natural. So how do we do this is we'll set a daily practice of picking 2, maybe 3 achievable wins you can have for that day, and in the evening checking them all and rinse and repeat. So you just do that every day. The next system we want to address is our hunger and satiety. So the problem is that the GLP-1s have now replaced your hunger hormones somewhat artificially. Those can get out of whack, and 2 of those hormones include ghrelin and leptin. And so your brain may not, one, recognize normal cues that you're full and or hungry. Part of that is that these hormones gone out of whack and basically gone in the opposite direction we want, and that could leave you having a greater appetite. So the solution is, one is our hunger calibration method. Now, we talked a little bit about that in the last video and definitely in the video 3. So if you haven't seen those videos, please watch it to get a little more detail. But that is something we want to use to really decide when we should be eating and when we should stop eating. Another thing that's going to help is eat at regular intervals. So there could be 3 meals or it could be 4 smaller meals. What we want to do is avoid grazing. We want to instill a rhythm into how we eat. And along with that is track our hunger before and after the meal. All right, now the third system we want to address, this is a good one, is our emotional coping. So the problem is that before we started medication, food, we did use it for comfort. Medication really blocked that urge. And I did just mention also blocks some of the reward you get from food. Now that you're off the medication, it's coming back. If you don't have new coping tools for the stress or emotional eating, you're just going to go back to your old habits because it's easy. Now, what's the solution? Essentially, what we want to do is build a non-food coping toolbox. Now, if you have problems with cravings, check out the link below. We do have a video specifically on just cravings. Now, so how we're going to create this toolbox is just pick some things that are not food to do instead of eating. It could be walking, stretching, meditating, a cold shower, deep breaths for even just 1 minute. It could be sitting quietly for 5 to 10 minutes and texting a friend. So these are all different ways that we can use to cope. It could even be like you journal for 1 minute and just write down how you feel. Sometimes just getting it out causes relief, but that video below, it will go into detail on how to do that. So take a Sunday night and just do an emotional audit and look back at the week and say, what triggers cravings for me? What worked as far as a response? And then we will look at prepare for the next week. You are likely to see some of those same stressors again. Let's just solve the problem this one time and not every time it happens. Those are the 3 systems that we do want to rewire after we've all lost the weight and make sure they are in line so that we have sustainable results. The last thing I want to mention is probably more important than everything else is identity anchoring. So becoming a new you. So patients often say, I feel like I'm going back to my old self, or they're worried, what if I lose control again? Well, the real key is real shift in identity. I am someone who trains. I am someone who uses nourishment to fuel me. I am someone who keeps promises to me. And if you lost weight, you've done some of those things already. We're not making it up. This is who you are. So how do we put this in practice is one simple thing you can do is just like 3 minutes of visualization in the morning. Just picture yourself being stable throughout the day, making healthy choices, choosing movement. But the real key is we only need to do this for a few minutes, but we also want to take on that feeling. Like, what does that feel like? Because that's where the real change is gonna happen. Let me know in the comments what you are planning to do around what are you gonna visualize. Yes, GLP-1s are great and they've helped you lose the weight, but this work is gonna really help your brain keep it off. So the goal is in control is being able to be confident and trust in yourself. If you're ready to reprogram your habits, your hunger, and your identity, this is the work we do. Our clinic helps people navigate not just the meds, but the mind. This wraps up our GLP-1 series. If this helped you think differently about your journey, subscribe and share with someone who is in navigating